All right, guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. Dawsonville's own Mr. Chase Elliott. A rare Clyde appearance via media, especially on the podcast. First time stacking Pennies guest and winner of Atlanta, Mr. Chase Elliott.
A rare invite at that. A rare invite. But
I don't know. I think
be here though.
I think there's the gatekeepers to Chase always shut the invites down. So to have you on the show,
oh man,
after a big
happy to be here. Appreciate y'all having me.
Big win, man, in front of the home crowd. It felt good. It had the mustache swag. That was probably the difference this weekend. But let's not bury the lead here. I was going for my first career win, and you blocked me, man. You blocked
me. I sure did. Yes.
Took all my hopes and dreams away. Could have changed my life.
I sure did, and I'm just happy that you put your noble steed in the background there for me to for me to see. But yeah, it was aggressive, but I felt like it was necessary. So what do you do?
I agree. Hey, and all is fair now in loving NASCAR in the last lap because you have to do what you got to do to get a dub. Does it mean a little bit more doing it in front of your hometown?
It definitely did for me. I mean, that was a really cool deal. Honestly, just I spent a lot of time at Atlanta, driving back and forth, going racing on the quarter mile, and a lot of time on the road between here and there with my family. I wish my family had been there. That was the first Atlanta race they'd missed and probably ever. So that was a bit of a bummer, but just, I don't know, something different about it. Certainly, when you have a track that close to home and you kind of feel the energy be a little bit different. It means a lot to me. And I know that, everybody around here has been really supportive of my career and has been, really good to my family over the years. So you can feel that difference and that energy when you're at the track. And it was cool to get it done in front of the home crowd.
So the listeners have already heard my point of view. I wanted to take them a little bit, peek behind the curtains into what was going through your head over the last couple of restarts, why you chose the lanes you did, when you thought the win might have been out of hand, why you chose to push the 19 or picking certain lanes. So going from like 6-8 laps to go, what was the position you felt you had to be in to try to get that win?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, let's see, we had the lead there probably going into the second to last restart. I'm trying to remember how that one went, but we ended up losing the lead there. I think the one ended up giving you a really good push, and got you guys the lead. And honestly, when I fell to third, while it was green, I was thinking, you're in third, you still have a shot. I would say as long as the race stays green, you can potentially fabricate a run again. But when the caution fell and then we ran forever under caution there for no reason, that cut it down to like 8 or 9 to go. And we were starting on the second row. And I'm like, man, we're going to be like, let's go. Like, let's get it going again because we're going to run out of time here starting on the second row. Like just as many laps that click away. Sometimes when you're not controlling the race, it's going to take you a handful of laps to get the energy up in the pack, the draft to really start working again, and for you to open up opportunities. Like those things just don't happen within a lap, at a lot of those speedways, it seems like. So you want to be in control of the race. So when we lost control, I really felt like we were in a lot of trouble, especially not restarting on the front row anymore. So I chose the outside on the last restart just because I felt like yes, you were controlling the race, and yes, you chose the bottom. I figured you chose it because you won out on the one before. So wanted to make that choice again. Certainly understood that. Thought that was a good choice for you to get the lead. For me, being in the second row, I just didn't think I could get there from third. Yes, that lane might go forward and give the control guy the race lead and potentially control there for a lap or two. But I thought for my chances, I needed to be in the outside lane to try to get an opportunity. And then really the turning point, in my opinion, was when Martin bobbled there in the middle of 1 and 2. That opened up a little bit of a lane for me to stick my nose in there and get the outside lane, get the lead of the outside lane. And then when I got to that position, felt like I was going to have an opportunity at some point. Obviously it's a toss up, but that was a much better place to be than on the second row.
So everybody asks, right? It's like, do you race teammates, competitors, guys that you don't see like myself racing for wins very often, or are all the cars black and white and you race everybody the same at that point of the race?
I mean, at that point of the race, I think it's pretty cutthroat. I mean, for everyone, but I still think there's always that respect level amongst your competitors, regardless of teams or manufacturers or makes or whatever, that you enjoy racing with more than others. At least that's kind of how I look at it. And how that particular individual has raced you in the past to how aggressive you want to be too, in a lot of scenarios. But, I think when you take the white flag, pretty much all bets are off, I would say, at that point, and they should be. I mean, look, these races are way too hard to win, right? I mean, when you're in a position you have a shot at it like that, first off, that's an impossible position to be in, because I give you a lane, you get by me, caution comes out, race is over, or you get by me, another run forms up, and I have another shot at you by the time we get back to the checkered flag. I mean, that's just something you don't know how it's going to play out. And I probably have made that wrong decision more than I have right over the course of my career. I've spearheaded plenty of wrecks at speedways because of that aggression. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know what the right choice is a lot of times.
So I'm going to ask you a weird question, because you're the guy holding the trophy and I'm the guy with the watered up car behind me. Is there anything from your point of view, if you were me, you'd have done different?
Honestly, no. I mean, I feel like when you're leading the race and you have control of it, that's the position I wanted to be in on my end. And I think, you have to accept there at some point that there are some runs that you can't defend. I think that I covered the bottom enough where you didn't feel like the bottom was going to work. And I think it was a little easier for me to cover top from that particular position. But no, I mean, you had a huge run and you got to do something with it, right? I mean, you just took the white flag and the bottom wasn't really an option. So go the other way. I mean, I did the same thing to you 2 laps before that. So it's like, what do you do?
Well, you had the same thing, about the same amount of run I had, but it's hard to know which one's a cover and which one's not to. But the 43 had me kind of picked up, so I couldn't put the wheel to it because I wanted to go to the bottom, but you had it covered. But I wanted to move on from a little bit because that was also, I mean, obviously a career day for myself, unfortunately, how we wanted to. But it was cool racing you, like the old days, man. It's been a while since I've been able to rub fenders with you when the white flag's out or anything. Last 10 years for that matter. But what's it mean, man? It's for me, it's always been cool to see my buddies, yourself, Bubba, Blaney, Daniel, Suarez, guys we've been racing with for the better part of a decade, making some success in the sport. Do you take any, I don't know, like solace in that, or like? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed racing for the win too. I told you that there, on Sunday, but hope to do it more often. And I expect you guys to be up front more. It was a really good run, something y'all should be proud of too. But yeah, I definitely am proud of that. I think for all of us that kind of came up at the same time or were, trying to make it, I know we're all kind of different ages, but we were all on similar paths at similar times. For me, my mindset has always been like, hey, I want to establish myself as somebody that can contend for a win every week in the Cup Series. And that, I think, is probably all of our goals. We just want to be in the mix. And that's how it's been for me. Like, I feel like there's a handful of guys who have a shot every week. And if that particular person wins, no one's surprised. Like, I want to get to that point. I want to be a guy that has a shot every week. And if you win the race, no one is surprised by that at the end of the day. And I think that's everyone's goal. And that's certainly where I want to be.
That's interesting you brought that up, because I think there's another variable that you and I can also relate with, was having a successful dad in the sport, right?
Yeah.
we are trying to solidify ourselves as a competitor. At what point in time do you feel like you can be put on the same pedestal as your dad?
I'm not sure you ever can, honestly. I mean, it's just, you're two different people, and my dad's legacy and the way his career unfolded was spectacular. I mean, he has 44 wins and a championship. I mean, that's a big number, right? I mean, especially in today's world. So I'm not sure that you ever really can. I'm not sure I'll ever be like, yeah, I want to compare my career to his. I just think they're two different things. And I've always tried to be me and do my thing. And also too, on his end, he is never comparing. Like it's just never even a conversation. Like he's always kind of let me do my thing and let me learn. Some days learn the hard way, but he's always let me go about my business the way that I want to go about it. And I've always respected that out of him and my mom, for that matter. But they've kind of let me learn lessons and try to figure things out on my own. And I think because of that, it's just different. I don't really know how to describe it. I've never really let it impact my decision making. It's not something I really go to bed thinking about at night. Always will respect it, but not sure that I compare in that way.
Do you think you can reach that 44 win? We talked about the podcast last week, wondering if you think you can get there.
Man, 44 is a big number. I mean, 44 is a big number. I feel like our team is capable of winning that much. But 44 is something that happens over a really long period of time. You have to be successful for years and years to get to a number that large. So to me, that's the thing. Can you be that good for that long? And that, in a lot of ways, I think is what separates the good from the great in any sport, is how long you can be successful, how long you can stay relevant, how long you can be competitive and perform at your peak. And look, I don't know. I mean, time will tell, right? I feel like we're in a really good spot right now today. Will that be the case in 2 or 3 years? I don't know. I mean, we'll wait and find out. I think the ability's there, but you have to execute at a high level to achieve that. So would love to. Would love to get there and surpass it if I can, but only time will give us that answer.
I think you got a pretty good shot at it, buddy. But the 9 team right now is hitting on all 8 cylinders. Do you feel like there's a better team in the garage than yours right now leading into the home stretch?
When we're at our best, no. I mean, when we're at our best, I feel like we can contend with whoever. Honestly, I've felt that way for years, for a few years now. I feel like when I show up and I do my job like I should do it, and our entire team top to bottom performs like I know we can, the performance has been there. And I think we've competed and been right there with the best of them on their good days too. So I'm, I love our group. I think we have a really strong team. I think we need to be just a little more consistent at some of the tracks. I think we can be better. I look at a place like Loudon, somewhere I have not done very good ever. And Pocono haven't had any success there since like my rookie year. So, not just because they're coming up next, but I look at 2 tracks that we've struggled at historically, and I'm like, hey, look, these are the kind of places we need to be better at. If we want to, have a shot every week, we got to be good at the places where we don't look forward to going to quite as much. And these are 2 important ones to try to make steps in the right direction.
No doubt. Well, man, I appreciate the time. But before I let you go, I usually ask 2 questions, but I'm going to ask 3. Number 1, if you had to pick one racetrack and one race car to race at the rest of your life, what are you going with?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I would say like Bristol late 80s, like some type of cup car. Yeah, like some type of cup car at Bristol in the late 80s. Like I feel like there was some incredible racing around there then.
That's a great answer. That was first for the show, actually. Question number 2, what's the most embarrassed you've ever been at the racetrack?
Ooh, most embarrassed. I've been embarrassed a lot. I've embarrassed myself probably too many to pick one, but I don't know about embarrassed, but I would say most disappointed probably in myself at the racetrack was when I threw away a win at Dover. A handful of years ago, raced against Kyle there for the win, and just did a terrible job. Pissed away a huge lead in traffic, and chose the wrong lane, didn't put up hardly any fight, at all. So probably the most disappointed I've been was that one. I mean, embarrassed, too, kind of, but more just disappointed in myself, just knew better and just made dumb decisions.
Question number 3. Can you let me win next time?
No, you wouldn't let me win.
Hell no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no shot.
Love it. Well, Chase, man, I appreciate you jumping on Stack of Pennies. Congrats. Hopefully we're racing wheel to wheel again here soon, buddy, but good luck this weekend allowed.
Yeah, appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Y'all be good.
All right, buddy.